Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the 1-year review on my Bison Flipback hard tonneau cover. So if you've seen any of my previous videos, I have a install video and a 6-month review on this tonneau cover here. This is the Bison 3 Flipback hardcover. So during my 6-month review video, the cover was holding up really good. My only concern really was some of the creasing from folding the cover back. And we're a year in now with this cover, and the seals here on the side are still doing pretty well here. So on the front cover, which is the one that is always opened the most, I've got a bunch of creasing here, but it hasn't split the rubber yet, which is good. So that was one of my biggest concerns at the 6-month point, was how is this rubber going to hold up long term. Overall, so far, I've picked up a couple extra dents on the cover, just from banging stuff around and placing items on top, but still there's no holes, which is great. It's still holding up pretty well. Over the winter, some of the double-sided tape has started to come off on the bumpers on the outside of the cover, as well as some of the inside bumpers, but that's honestly something that's super easy to fix. I've got some 3M double-sided tape, so I'm going to peel this off once it gets a little bit worse. It's only starting on the sides, and then I'll re-secure them, so that's not a big concern. So after the first winter in my 6-month video review, I noticed that the ice froze on the inside here and actually broke the top of the clip here. It hasn't gotten any worse, and the other side is still good, but that's definitely something I'm going to keep an eye on. I've only buckled down my cover a couple times because I've only actually had it open and driving around a few times, so it hasn't really caused me any issues, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. So overall, for the first year so far, the exterior of the cover has definitely held up pretty good. Like I said, my biggest concern after 6 months was the seals from opening and closing. Was if they start to crack, it's going to allow water to get in on those sides where the cover folds over. But we haven't had any issues yet, so 1 year in, and I'm still pretty happy with the overall exterior side of the cover. So let's open up the cover, and we're going to talk about the inside and the clips and everything. So over the last year, I have actually only ever driven with the cover fully open like this, using the locking rails here one time, and the cover did actually really good, which was nice. I did a run to the dump, so I had the truck filled up all the way up, so I had to prop the cover open and use these points here to secure the cover open. When I first got the cover, I was a little skeptical with this lock being plastic on how it would actually hold up, but like I said, I've only used it once so far and I had no issues. But if you're driving with your cover open all the time, the plastic is definitely something to keep an eye on, because if it does break, you would need to replace it. The opening mechanisms for the first portion and the second portion, I've had no issues with, which is great. They're still nice and strong. The cords still have good tension, which is awesome. And I go into my truck, I'm going to say 10 to 15, even 20 times a day sometimes, getting stuff in and out of it when I'm carrying tools to different job sites and stuff. So this is something that's held up really good, which I'm super happy with. I started to get a couple deeper dings on the inside of the cover, but again, that's just me carrying a lot of stuff in the truck sometimes. So the inside cover portion, that's definitely my fault if I've done it up, but nothing is actually pierced through the cover, which is great. So if you're using the cover a lot and you're carrying a lot of stuff, it's definitely something to keep an eye on, that you're not stacking too many things too tall that the cover is going to sit right on top of, because it is a thinner aluminum. You definitely will ding and dent it up, and you want to be careful that you're not going to put any holes through it. So overall, with my first year of the cover, it's definitely been good, but there are a couple things that I've started to have some issues with that definitely have started to annoy me. So the biggest thing that's been causing me problems with this that's really been annoying me is the drain system on this cover. I've been having non-stop issues where the drains are actually leaking into the truck. So the way that the two drains on the rear of the cover rails connect is they kind of just clip on and hold. So they're not watertight. They clip into the grooving here and on the opposite side. So what's happening is when there's heavy rain, water is actually coming in. It's not draining out fast enough, and it's pooling past the front, the sides, and the rear of the clips here, and it just fills the whole back of the bed here with water. There's a drain in my truck, so that's not a big deal for holding water for a long time. But if I'm carrying tools, so beginning of the week for me, sometimes the end of the week, or if I have a lot of material in the truck and I have the cover closed and it's raining, there's a high chance that I find that because I'm getting leaks here from the rail system, the stuff inside the truck ends up getting wet. And on the other side, it's the exact same issue. The way that these clips actually lock into place here on the rail, same thing. Water is making its way out, migrating towards the bottom here, and I'm having it. So I think when it comes to the drain system, they need to find a better solution, as well as having the availability to have drains at the front of the rails, not just the rear of the rails here, because the same thing, if your vehicle's parked this way and your drains are at the front, the water's not going to migrate to the drain. So what happens is it rolls down to the back and it fills in the back corners of the truck. So this is what I was talking about here on the rear, because there's no drains on either side here. And if you're parked not at a steep enough slope to allow the water to drain through the tailgate opening, what happens is water starts to pool in the lower corner of the truck here. And then again, anything that's in the truck gets wet. So now that we're talking at the rear portion of the rails, one thing that has actually just started about a month ago that I've been having problems with is these covers always pop off, so that's not a big deal, but the rail here, the rubber portion, has shifted. So you can see the white clip and the rubber here. It's starting to shift from the back end and completely come forward. It's happening on both sides, so I think the internals of the rail here are actually starting to force their way towards the back of the truck. So what I'm going to have to do, I think, is take the entire cover back off and see if I can push this back forward without damaging the seals here. I'm hoping that this is something that I can actually fix here by just popping the cover off and pushing these back and resecuring the cover. But if not, I'll definitely do another video down the road and let you guys know how this is holding up here. But this here is definitely starting to become a bit of a problem that I'm not happy with. But again, 1 year in overall, with the price and the couple small things that I've been having some issues with, I would still recommend this cover for you, because you're looking at half the price of going with something like a G2 backflip, which is a very similar cover, which my truck used to have originally when I got it. Overall, though, I am happy with the cover. But again, it's a couple things that I'm going to have to keep an eye on to make sure they don't become actual issues. If you have any questions about the cover, leave me a comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.